Brand new jobs numbers released today indicate a very mixed message for the American economy. According to the Labor Department, the unemployment rate has dropped sharply from 9% to 8.6%, its lowest level in more than 2 years, a feat for which President Obama wasted no time taking credit.
This morning, we learned that our economy added another 140,000 private sector jobs in November. The unemployment rate went down. And despite some strong headwinds this year, the American economy has now created in the private sector jobs for the past 21 months in a row.
But maybe the president should hold off on the celebration since the seemingly positive numbers aren't really good news at all. The main reason for the drop appears to be the drastically shrinking labor force. More than 300,000 people have simply given up and stopped looking for work. And while 120,000 new jobs were added last month, economists say this is a fairly weak number, relatively speaking. Speaker of the House John Boehner responded to today's report by stating, quote, "The jobless rate in this country is still unacceptable. Today marks the 34th consecutive month of unemployment above 8%. As you may remember, the Obama administration promised unemployment would stay below 8% if its stimulus was enacted. That promise has gone unfulfilled. Joining me now with reaction from the Fox Business Network, Charles Gasparino, and Project 21 fellow, Daily Caller columnist, and Fox News contributor, Deneen Borelli. Great to see you guys. Hello. Welcome. All right, so Charlie, let me start with you. Unemployment 8.6%, 120,000 jobs created last month, but about 50,000 of those jobs are simply seasonal for the holidays, right? We also have over 300,000 people just saying, I give up, I can't find a job. Right. And last week, first-time jobless claims ticked back up over 400,000. Right. What does this tell you about the jobs crisis?
Well, we should point out that you notice how the president never takes credit for when the unemployment rate goes up. And, you know, there is a good chance the unemployment rate's going to go up when those people that are out of the workforce, remember, the workforce shrank. That's what this measures as well. It's a smaller workforce. You have small unemployment because you have a smaller workforce. People are outside the workforce. When they come back in, to say the economy does get marginally better than the 2.1% growth we have right now, unemployment is going to go up, and that's the problem he has. There's a good chance in the middle of next year's the election season, you can have 9% unemployment again, because the bottom line is there's an art to reading this stuff. It involves also how big is the workforce, and the workforce shrank here.
That's absolutely right. And on that point, Deneen, if the labor participation rate were today the same as it was the day Obama was sworn in, that unemployment rate would be 11%. So there's a lot of smoke and mirrors here.
No, you're absolutely right. I see excessive celebration going on here where, you know, the numbers are just way too high. You know, one of the barriers that we have to be concerned about is the fact that Obama has a war on fossil fuels. He is pushing renewable, the clean energy industry, where we know it cannot stand on its own. The stimulus didn't work. We know that. But, you know, we have a shovel-ready project, Canada to Texas, the Keystone pipeline, right? You know, over 20,000 jobs, revenue for the government, and it's privately funded. Right. What is wrong with this picture?
He won't do it.
He refuses to approve it.
You know, Charlie, when we look at the jobs picture and these numbers, right, you think about the Reagan recovery in the 1980s. We were creating between 300 and 500,000 new jobs a month. We're nowhere near that.
This is really scary. And what's really scary about this is if you really look at what he said in selling the stimulus package, the nearly $1 billion or $1 trillion, it's many billions, the $1 trillion back in 2009. What he really said was, when you read the numbers and the analysis, unemployment should be well below 8% now. It should be maybe heading towards 7% right now. And that's the real failure here. None of it really worked. You know, there was, even he had conceded, there was no shovel-ready projects involved. There was simply a transfer of money to the states. The states kept their municipal unions fat and happy, let them, you know, spend all their money on their pension costs. And, you know, what we have right now also, as you pointed out, I mean, it's really interesting. It's about green jobs, which don't produce any jobs. Many cylinders, not a lot of jobs.
And that's why, you know, we're talking about political acts, not economic acts, whether it's the stimulus or Solyndra. This is about wealth redistribution. This is about social engineering in the economy.
You're absolutely right. Command and control of so many things, from healthcare to energy. And also, he's looking out for his crony capitalist friends, because with the stimulus money, GE, for example, I mean, come on. You got Jeff Immelt on his jobs panel. What kind of advice is he giving him? You know, but he's using our tax dollars to prop up his business. and we are the ones who are losing out.
If you think of some of the advisors, private sector advisors he has, that's where it really gets sort of laughable. I mean, Jeff Immelt, I know him. I used to work for him. I used to be at CNBC, which is, was owned by GE. Very nice man, but not the type of guy that they create more jobs in China than they do here. And let's lay it on the line. John Corzine, the disgraced John Corzine, FF Global, former New Jersey governor, former senator. Guess what? He was on the short list to be Treasury Secretary.
It's unbelievable.
If you have that type of bench, this is what you're going to get.
Well, Deneen, we talked about the Reagan recovery. He cut taxes. He reined in regulations. The exact opposite approach to what Barack Obama has done. That Reagan recovery, not only do we have 500,000 jobs being generated every single month, but we had economic growth rates of like 7, 8, 9%. Now we've got anemic economic growth.
No, you're absolutely right. And, it's common sense. You cut taxes, cut the regulations. One of the things that the EPA is doing, for example, in terms of regulations, which is driving up energy costs, we have concerns about our electricity being reliable on the grid. And, they're waving the red flag. You got the...
Go ahead. I'm sorry. But, Republicans need to take some blame here. I mean, let's be honest. We sit around, we wring our hands about cutting. Tea Party is telling us to cut everything. Guess what? We don't have any growth. Where is the growth agenda? I would like to see Newt Gingrich or Romney step up and put out a growth agenda plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where is that from the Republican Party?
The two frontrunners in the GOP race, Romney and Gingrich, both have put out significant pro-growth plans, and they need to be talking about it a lot more aggressively. I totally agree with you. It's not just about austerity and cutting spending. It's about pro-growth agenda.
Absolutely.
Deneen, Charlie, great to see you guys. Thank you.